Oh, what a day to be here sitting down with my bro talking about pro wrestling. It is Mister Young.
And it's foreign in the building. How are you? How are you? We've survived a bit of a scare.
Yes, yes. The funny thing is what you guys don't know, right? Right before we came on, everything crashed again. I was like, okay, what is this? What is going on? Is it really TK, the benevolent Tony Khan, the best booker of 2023, 2022? That's it. I can only say good things. If not, things might happen to the stream.
Bro,
Go ahead.
everything okay? Everything okay?
Everything good.
I just wanted to be clear, right? Last week we had a terrible stream in the sense that as you were just about to start, completely everything shut down. No one could hear us to the point that we had to restart the entire stream, and we lost viewers because of that. So I'm sad to say last week's episode was actually our lowest rated episode.
Are you serious?
In terms of viewership last week, yes.
Yeah.
I don't blame the fans. I know all of you guys are always tune in. You guys are our day one fans, but I have a feeling, bro, these AEW bots are legit, bro. We have to do some investigation, bro. Anytime AEW related topic, somehow something or another happened, bro.
You know, that's the thing, right? Like AEW is putting out such a quality product right now, and therefore, I'm very
Start already.
I'm very surprised at what is going on here,
we have nothing but great things to say all the time.
Exactly. Tony Khan is the best booker of 2023. No sarcasm. Let me say hello to everybody, by the way. Fias, good to see you. McJohn Mouse, what's up? Let's go. Fias says his laptop also crashed just because he said foreign works to Tony Khan. Alamak, see?
You see? Guys.
They're all listening, bro. They're all listening.
They're all listening. Especially for this week's topic, us reviewing AEW Blood and Guts, they are listening with very, very, very intently, bro.
Muhammad Daniel, what's up? Good afternoon to you. And once again, as always, we appreciate you spending your afternoons with us. Maybe you're having lunch or whatever the case may be. I'll tell you what, we have a Discord channel. If you want to come and chat with us about anything wrestling related or even real life related, also can. Some people like to talk about UFC, football also got. Come and join the Discord fam.
Hey bro, some people talking to me about 1975, bro. Suddenly they are like, foreign, go watch 1975 concert, and then after that they cause drama in Malaysia. It's
bro,
fault,
I can we, because hey, we are not just about the pro wrestling, we are also about the lifestyle topics and the pop culture and stuff like that. Are you, first of all, okay, let me just get this out of the way. Discord link is in the description.
Yes.
Also, we have a Patreon page if you want to take your support for the podcast. That little step further, whatever is comfortable for you, we say thank you from the bottom of our hearts. But okay, Tovakin, how are you? Now, let's talk about the 1975. Are you a fan of this band? They are from the UK, yes?
Yes, indeed. Yes. Let's set some context. I think it's great to know for people who are listening in or new listeners, right?
Yep.
We start the podcast, we catch up with each other's life.
Sure.
Somehow it grows into a current affairs, politics. Remember last week, the hot tea about the government? That was how we started the podcast. This week also got hot tea, bro.
Bro, I am telling you, this is our spin-off podcast, Kick to the Face. Or kick to the balls. Just like, the pressing topics that people want to talk about. We talk about life, bro.
Yeah. Okay, just to answer your question, yes, Mister, I actually am a fan of 1975. I've been listening to them from the start, from 2013. So, I love the music. They actually came to Singapore in 2019. I was there.
Okay.
So, this time around, they did 2 sold-out shows. I had my girlfriend come along.
Sure.
And to be honest, we actually had a fun time in Singapore. But let me tell you something interesting. There was a sneak preview of the shit that was about to happen in Malaysia, bro.
Okay.
So last week, right? 1975 performed on Tuesday and Wednesday. So on the second show, which was where we were, this Matt Healy, the lead singer, right? He's known for, AKA, putting on an act during his performances. So
wait. Do you mean being an asshole?
Yeah, it's not an act per se, but he made because right a few years ago he said he's sober already, bro. He's gone clean.
Yeah.
So but then he's on stage, he's drinking his whiskey, he's smoking. So I thought maybe he's putting on an act, like maybe he's drinking like a non-alcoholic drink and then like pretending to be like drunk or what.
Working the crowd, as it were.
Yeah, he's working his gimmick, man. As a wrestling fan, you might understand that. So I thought in my mind, okay lah, this is his act. So during the concert, he suddenly sat down in the middle of the stage. He said, "Hey guys, man, I don't see what's the point of life anymore. This is his words, not verbatim, but more or less around the same. I don't see the point in life anymore. So if you were to see me spiral down in the next 5 to 6 months, just know that it's not your fault. It's just I don't want to do this anymore. This was him like pouring his heart out to the crowd per se. I'm not sure whether it's work or shoot, right? And then he was like, please don't feel sorry for me when I fall. But then the next song right after that monologue was a song entitled "Falling for You."
Okay.
So I was like, when I fall, and then the song starts. So I'm like, oh, okay, he want to segue into the next song. You know what I mean? Like, it's an act, right?
Yeah.
But then in my mind, I'm like, actually, this guy's something not right with him today. I think he like not in the mood or having a episode, bro.
Okay, so wait, when was this in relation to what just happened this past weekend?
No, this was last Wednesday only, bro.
Oh, so he was in Singapore, then they went to Malaysia for the Good Vibes Festival, is it?
Correct. So he was, his tour was working their way down Southeast Asia.
So he was really spiraling, like, quote unquote.
I think he's just having issues. And did you know, bro, this is some rumors if you don't follow the celebrity news.
Okay.
This fella had a short-term romance with Taylor Swift, just broke up, right?
Yeah, that I heard about. I don't know, man. Like, look, I am not a fan of Brit rock, so I have never really heard a single song by the 1975. I just, read about what happened on stage, right? And you know what it smacks to me of? And I don't want to make this like this political thing, but it smacks to me of, I'm going to just say it, white savior complex. You know what I'm saying, right?
I get it.
Like, don't go to a country and try to push your political views, your ideology, and this, that, and the other thing. When you very well know you are there to collect a paycheck, then what? You don't do research on the places you're going? That's on you, bro. Like, you know what I mean? And then
that's literally what he said on stage, yeah.
Well, yeah, and then right after that, not only did he cause a whole issue, and obviously the reaction to shut down the entire festival was an overreaction by the government, but it is something that happens there. If you research, you will know, right? Once again, he's just there for the paycheck. He's like, I'm gonna come here, take money. I don't care about your political, your religious, whatever views. I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do. Like, in the name of saving, like, no, you're not saving anybody. You're just being a drunk asshole. And not only that, this jabroni caused the whole festival to shut down. There's 3 days festival. The other 2 days, all the performers, all the vendors, so many people got hurt because of this one. Oh, I cannot, bro. You making me upset, bro. Making me upset.
Bro, you this is just the start where you get more upset when we talk about AEW later. But anyway, I want to be very clear here, right? Like, let's set some context. So what happened was on the first day, he was the 1975 was the headlining act, right? They had Sabrina Carpenter was there performing right before him. They even had Anderson Park. I didn't know Anderson Park was there. And Daniel Caesar was there. So it was like it was really good vibes leading up towards the headline act, right? No pun intended.
Yeah, until he goes on stage and does his whole thing. I mean, okay, I can't remember the sequence of events. I've read like a bit too much about it already, but he destroyed the organizer's drone. He got all like, don't get this shit out of my face. Like, bro, whatever lah. And then of course he kissed the band member on stage to quote unquote protest the anti-LGBTQIA stance, politically and whatever, right? So, and he goes on this whole thing and just, I don't know, man. Okay, like I said, go ahead.
The funny thing is, right, like, to me, right, you want to create a stance or you want to, talk about things. I think there's a place and time for it. There are certain mediums that you can go about it. My issue is, right, I know people who actually travel over to Malaysia to talk to go spend this their weekend or their event, and they are literally legit fans of 1975. They really want to hear their music, really want to enjoy themselves there. And I also know some of the local artists from Malaysia who were all like at the so-called undercut. If he's the main event, they're the undercut, right? And this was like their first big time opportunity to play in such a big stage.
All gone.
And all gone because of this guy, and I feel he didn't think through. Of course, he didn't think through his actions, right?
No, he's a self-entitled savior complex piece of crap. Yeah,
and he come there, he caused the whirlwind of chaos. Yeah, then he cabut. He's like, okay, we are banned by, but he doesn't think about how it affects the rest of that.
Exactly. Did he apologize? I don't know if he did. I hope he did. I don't think
he didn't.
He did.
He
Of
didn't.
course. Of course.
I'm
No,
on
he's,
IG story. I know.
yeah, he's standing. I'm sure he's standing by his stance. Oh, I'm savior. Cannot, bro.
He really thought he did a thing. He really thought,
he just made himself look like an asshole. I've never listened to his music. Now I will never want to listen to his music. I don't care how good it is. You know what I mean?
It's such a shame. It's such a shame because, it's like me. Okay, I'm tired of being fans of problematic people. Whether it's CM Punk, whether it's 1975, always give me a bad rap.
At least my guy, Chris Jericho, he just do stupid thing. He never cause major chaos. Yours are always, got problems, massive problems.
So maybe it's a reflection of me. Maybe I need to reflect on myself. Why am I so?
Hey, you know the kid Leroy? He actually he landed in KL, right? And then found out that his concert got cancelled. So he performed in the hotel lounge.
I'm gonna listen to Kid Leroy's music now.
Right, yeah, no, I saw him perform at the F1 in the rain.
Yep.
Like, dude got energy. I'm not a huge fan of his music, but I'm a fan of the person now. So, a lot, say what you want. A lot of it is like this whole you want to be a bad boy. Like, I don't think that flies in 2023.
My favorite thing about the whole situation is, of course, the Malaysian netizens. You do not mess with Malaysian citizens.
Okay.
Netizens, online, right?
Right.
Yeah. So for any of our Malaysian listeners listening, right, what I love is, right, when Malaysians get collectively outraged, right, their comments are hilarious, especially if you understand Malay, bro.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so let me just share why.
Sure, go ahead.
Get a kick out of it. So he was talking about his white savior. There was a TikTok live stream of him filming and all that, right?
Yeah.
And then the comment below, right? Because he was talking all that nonsense. The comment below was like, "Diam lah, babi."
I mean, quiet lah, pig.
Yeah, shut up, pig. And then another one is like, "Dah lah, tak handsome."
What's that? No. What's that? What's that mean?
You already not handsome. Want to step? It's like Malay when they talk shit and roast people is fucking hilarious. So,
I mean, okay, let's put a wrestling spin on it, right? And say what you want about the WWE. Look at what they are doing. Slowly enacting change. See, they are smart enough. And okay, yes, I'm sure everyone will point out, they are a big corporate entity. Of course, they're going to play it safe, right? Like doing the whole Saudi Arabia tours and stuff like that. But do you see how they slowly enacted change bit by bit? Having the first women's match. Remember when they had to wear like literally a potato sack? Then after that, slowly it got better and better. And then, they're still covered up, but they respect the culture, right? Yeah. I mean, you want to enact change, that's great. You want to stand for something, that's great. But you don't go out there and then swing completely one end of the spectrum, because you know what's going to happen? They will swing all the way the other side and the whole thing gets cancelled. This is not how you convince people. You attract flies with honey. Well, sometimes you can attract flies with shit also, but that's a different metaphor altogether.
So that is like watching a car crash and it getting millions of views online. Yeah, so I get what you mean. You're absolutely right. I feel like again, let me reiterate. There's a time and place for everything.
Sure.
I don't go to Mister Young's house and start. I don't know what start causing a ruckus. I know you love to keep your house in order. I'm not gonna go there and start fucking like just tooling around naked and like. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, exactly.
Respect the house,
Yes, respect where you're going. And well, if anything, didn't he cancel his Jakarta and his Taipei tour as well?
Oh, bro, yeah,
all
because the fest was right afterwards, right?
Yeah.
At least the Jakartan, the Indonesian government didn't overreact and cancel the whole tour. Correct. But bro, if he tried that shit in Jakarta, I think he will die, bro. The Islam. No, because Indonesia is the most populous Islamic country in the whole world. You know that, right?
Oh, is it really? I did not know that.
No, because of the sheer size of the country, that's one thing. But it has a bigger Muslim population than Saudi Arabia, than any other Muslim country. Bro, you don't play with them. I think Malaysia will be overreact online. Indonesia will rebat you, bro. Don't play with them. So he saved himself by avoiding that.
Well, I mean, there you go. Oh my god, I don't believe we spent 20 minutes talking about pop music. So how, guys? What do you think? Kick to the balls. new current affairs podcast, lifestyle podcast, on and on.
We slowly enact change, bro. We can start the every podcast. We can talk about what happened this week, current affairs.
And you know, this is a deeper. There's a deeper meaning to this. There's a
of course.
deeper goal, right? We start talking about current affairs. We pull in people who are interested in current affairs. Then we hit them with the wrestling, and then they get into wrestling, bro. We are spreading the gospel of pro wrestling, man.
Bro, everything leads to pro wrestling. What are you talking about? Bro?
Yeah,
anything in life, right, can connect to wrestling. If you know, you know.
Bro, don't even get me started on like office politics and like, you know, the WWE politics. All got parallel on.
Yeah. And also, the reason why we have such a long preamble, I think we really don't want to review AEW Blood and Guts, but but you know, out of our responsibility to the podcast, I think we'll definitely give our comments for sure, right?
Yeah, we'll get there, right? Okay, here's the thing. I'll be very honest with you. I skipped most of that Dynamite and went straight to the main event because I didn't care anymore. I don't care about Dynamite anymore.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And I mean, I tried to, because, okay, I haven't watched Dynamite in a while. So I'm like, okay, at least I've sort of detoxed from the flippy shit. So I thought maybe I can tahan this.
Oh, dear,
bro,
okay.
I was like rolling my eyes so hard at the try-hardness of this Blood and Guts match. Was this the worst Blood and Guts match thus far?
Yeah, and this is not really a high bar, but honestly, like I really enjoyed like Inner Circle versus Pinnacle, Blood and Guts. Even last year BCC versus, I think BCC
JAS.
at that point in time was the babyface and then against JAS. It felt like the violence felt I wouldn't use the word real, but there was an intensity to that violence.
Yeah.
There we weren't laughing at the spots if they fall onto like a bit of thumbtacks, right? It's like, oh damn, okay.
Yeah.
But this particular one, I just don't know. Maybe we are rolling our eyes too much because of whatever Mox is up to. Of course, Golden Elite, they have their fans, right? I also enjoy Kota Ibushi in some of the New Japan matches.
Yeah.
But in this presentation, I just didn't feel he stood out in any way.
Well, we know that AEW has a problem with like, really presenting foreign megastars, right? Like
I agree.
Every Forbidden Door, they never build them up, so we are just expected to know who they are and what legacy they come with, right? And like you said, a lot of the spots felt hokey. It felt like indie bullshit. Like it's crazy because, okay, let me take you back to WrestleMania, Triple H versus Batista. If you think about it, they didn't do anything really that dangerous, but it felt intense. The spot where he ripped the ring out of Batista's nose. Do you remember that one with the pliers?
Of course.
That looked so like I was cringing, right? But
even as easily as remember Jeff Hardy and Randy Orton, the screwdriver through the ear.
Yes. That felt like ooh. Here everything was ooh, but in a what the hell are you like? Oh, dude. Fia says he fell asleep halfway. Also, and yes, the giant irony of them announcing their big safety protocols. Well, okay, if you notice properly, they did stick to the protocol in that they didn't involve the audience too much. There was no John Moxley going into the audience while bleeding, that kind of stuff, because that's forbidden. The rest of the stuff, they probably, like I said, they got permission one, what? All they needed to do was say, Tony, boss, friend, best friend, bro, I bleed, Okay, on.
I bleed on.
I bring bed of nails, Okay, on. Like, and somehow we all know this group is like Tony Khan's favorite guys, right? So of course he's going to just say yes to everything, what?
Yeah, no, I think my issue with this match was really like, okay, let's talk about the best War Games matches, whether it's in NXT or in WWE. Even let's talk about last year's WWE War Games where they had Bloodline versus like the other guys, right? Bro, the story running through the match, like Sami Zayn getting ordered around, Sami Zayn trying to win over the Bloodline by kicking Kevin Owens. The stories was what made me feel like, okay, I can follow the action. It wasn't just mindless action. But okay, people might argue my point and say, hey, got story Park walk out from Claudio, not happy with Claudio, or like Takeshita leaving, or I don't know, they might see that, but the problem is those things were done for like, oh, shock factor, oh, just a thing. It didn't. There was nothing that led up to their issues. But suddenly come back, suddenly got issue with Claudio.
Yeah, no, that's exactly it. There was absolutely no build. Park returning was a surprise, and then him leaving. Of course, nobody will give a flying because he wasn't invested in this storyline to begin with. Takeshita maybe got a little bit more, and then him getting pulled out by Don Callis was like, because one fella left, so he's like, oh, I don't want my client to get hurt, or some such logic like that, right? So it was like, yeah, and then. Well, I don't know, is this a cheap way of making them look good even in losing? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
perhaps.
And of course, wasn't it Yuta that took the loss? Or was it?
Yes, Yuta took the loss because of the chain around his neck. They strangled him at the end, yeah.
But apparently it was Mox who submitted for Yuta because he didn't want Yuta to get hurt or something like that.
Well, again, the fact that we had to explain it to ourselves and try to make sense.
No, yeah, it was
without
convoluted.
Watching the show, it was terrible.
Yeah. No, it was convoluted AF. Okay, what did you think of the bit of nails?
I just felt it was so
extra.
It's almost violence, like an overindulgence in violence to the point that. Okay, if you watch too much porn, you can't steam anymore. It's literally that. It's literally that, bro.
No, but this is what we've been saying for weeks and weeks and weeks, only just without using that analogy. But that's exactly it, bro.
It's exactly it, bro.
It's an absolute desensitization of their product. Their product is so, we are so desensitized to it. That's why, even though I thought I hadn't watched AEW in 3 weeks, I could come in and stomach this. I couldn't, because it was violence for the sake of violence as opposed to telling a story, doing something that people would feel for. They're great performers in terms of athleticism and whatnot, but good God, man, the second Mox went in, glass. What?
Yeah, I think Mox really ruined the whole scenario because the moment he came in, he had a fork. He was stabbing people. He was doing all this nonsense.
Broken glass, got this. It's like, why are you escalating right off the bat?
I think also another thing that I really was disappointed about the match I didn't hate it, but I was disappointed. It was Kota Ibushi's involvement in the match and how he was portrayed. Because, right, even if you're not a fan of him, you don't know anything about him, they hype him up like he's a big deal, right?
Yep.
They didn't make him a major component of the match. You didn't see him face to face with Mox or having a stare down, or they didn't even tease Kenny Omega and Ibushi hugging, it's supposed to be an emotional moment. Didn't feel anything. So I just feel like the way they laid out and presented each characters wasn't well done at all.
Nope. Once again, it's almost as if this whole idea of, you should know, right? And it permeates the entire product on Dynamite, might I add. So, it was. I'm not going to watch Dynamite again. Apparently, they did well ratings-wise. Apparently there was an uptick, the highest it's been in 5 months.
Oh, I see. Do you know the numbers for that?
No, I don't have the exact numbers, but it's the highest they've been in 5 months, which, it kind of makes sense. It's a whole gimmick match, right? I just hope that they don't take this as an indication that, we should do more. If anything, do less. Tell stories, which...
Tobaki brought up a great point. Kota really looks sluggish and out of shape. And I will remember a time when Kota was as jacked as Park. Park look jacked. I mean, I love Park's physique, right?
Park is always jacked. Every time he shows up, he's literally he shows up at the press conference in his trunks and he's jacked, right?
Bro, his abs like granite, bro. So respect to him.
But maybe that's what he's been doing. He actually doesn't wrestle. He just gym every day. When he shows up, I'm jacked, and that's it. That's all he does. Is it?
Yeah. But the problem is, right, he wasn't the big deal of the match, right? It was supposed to be Ibushi, and Ibushi knowing that this moment was coming, and he has been a freelancer, has been a free agent since the start of the year. He come in, he look like me right now, bro. It's like,
bro, okay, let's not go too far. Look like you. What are you trying to say about him?
No, I mean, I got a dead board, man, but I don't think he got a dead board. I'm saying that he doesn't look show ready,
Right. And like I said, maybe it's his buddy trying to get Tony Khan to sign him. I wouldn't be surprised because this is all friends wrestling, right?
Yeah. And I feel like if they introduce him properly, not just by a freaking package, look at the straw, look at the stage, and then they have a 1 minute package of him. introduce himself, cut the promo, even if it's in Japanese with subtitles, I will feel that's the issue, right? Most of us wrestling fans who follow New Japan or maybe are really deep into all these dirt sheets, yes, we know Ibushi, we respect him, we love what he's done. But if you're trying to grow your audience in AEW, like, why should I care? Like, people will care about Sami Zayn and Roman Reigns even though they don't follow anything about him. Because they present it so well before the matches in WWE.
They know how to tell stories, and the Elite, this group lah, basically, for whatever reason, is either they don't know or they don't want to. They just play cheat code all the time and do flippy shit. Because that's what they love to do. John Moxley loves to bleed, Bucks love to flip, Kenny loves to flip. It's their thing, right? And I think we've said it before. It's worked for them because on the indies you don't see them all the time. When you see it in real life once every few months, of course it blows your mind. Word of mouth travels, right? Like you see like short little 30-second clips, but episodic television, week in, week out, you see the same shit. You're done. I want another reason to care for you other than you can do, whatever, moonsault onto a bed of nails or some shit like that.
Is this the end of this rivalry?
Good God, please, yes. Yeah, the Bucks need to go away for a while. And I don't mean that in a I hate, Mr. Young hates the Young Bucks. No, they need to take a break because they've been there, but they've done nothing. Does that make sense?
When was the last time you saw an emotional Young Bucks promo where they open up about themselves?
No, but here's the thing. Every single promo that they've done have been hokey, jokey, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know, exactly. And some people say, oh no, you should have watched All Elite backstage or what behind the scene. Remember that show?
Nobody watched lah. Stop lah.
Yeah, exactly. Nobody watched that. Nobody watched Dynamite. So Dynamite is actually, but it's a bigger audience. All the best stuff where you can introduce the characters should be on Dynamite, not all the backstage shows.
Oh, yoy. Oh, I think they hinted that it is because they shook hands after the match. Yeah, it's like, that's the other thing too. Like, only their fans will care that they've disappeared. I don't think anybody else really cares.
The top people that need to disappear and take a break from AEW right now is Young Bucks. I think Chris Jericho, I'm sorry to say, bro.
Sure,
Chris Jericho needs a break. He needs a break. Yeah. And the only thing is, right, like, I feel Kenny Omega honestly should separate himself and go on a singles run, or at least have I think just be presented his own solo character for a while.
Yes.
Even in my opinion, right, Hangman Page has lost a ton of momentum. He's just blended into the background in this whole Elite faction.
Yeah lah, hanging out with his friends lah, just riding their coattails because they are the EVPs. Look, let's put a bow on this shit sandwich that is blood and guts. Should they rest this gimmick? Should they not do it for a few years, or only do it when there is a rivalry that calls for it, as opposed to, once again, the whole idea of doing it because it's an event?
I think blood and guts, because people already is so conditioned to know that, okay, June, July period, there's going to be a blood and guts match, right? It becomes a bit passé, right? Yep. But I still think that it's okay to keep this as their signature event, but maybe not like every July. Play it around, like how it used to introduce Hell in a Cell when the situation calls for it, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So, no, I wouldn't say retire it, but just use it sparingly when the situation calls for it.
Only when the feud calls for it lah. Like when there's an organic, okay, this is really heating up, let's build towards it. As opposed to, like we've talked about, like, WWE is very guilty of this as well. Like they have their Hell in a Cell pay-per-view, and then they just put random people in Hell in a Cell because it's the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view, as opposed to because you're blowing off a feud.
Yeah, luckily they fixed that issue. And I think Hell in a Cell, the recent matches have been worthwhile and made sense in the context.
Pia says John Moxley also needs a break. We didn't mention John, but he needs a break. Like,
bro, I think if I was Renee Young, right, I'm like, I need my man at home to not bleed. You know what I mean?
Bro, like I saw bits and heard clips about his whole like thesis on bleeding and blading. It's like
hilarious.
Wow. He really, I don't know, man. I don't like. Maybe going back to the WWE is the best thing for him, for his health, for everything. There at least you have people who will like try to tell him, hey, like relax a bit lah.
Yeah, okay. I don't know how to pull up this clip, but I remember seeing online Randy Orton talking about John Moxley. It was the most hilarious soundbite ever.
Ah,
Randy was like, when I first met John or Dean Ambrose, like I just didn't get him. I was like, who the fuck is this guy? What's he up to?
right.
And then after a while, after spending time with him, like it just all made sense to me. Oh yeah, he's a fucking weirdo. And then, and then he's like, but that's all right. I mean, all of us are fucking weirdos. You just accept it.
Sure.
Like, okay, now I get it. I get who he is. I can like act or react accordingly, interact
Correct.
accordingly with him.
Correct.
He really is a weirdo, bro.
Well, yeah. There's all sorts, right? Fias says, imagine at home they argue straight away he blame himself. Every small thing. Why didn't you take out the trash? It starts bleeding all over the couch.
I'm hungry.
This pasta is too salty.
I think Moxley can be a great soft part character, bro. Just bleeding on it.
Yeah, just everything, no reason, just bleeding already. Somebody cut him off in traffic, all of a sudden, the next scene you see he crimson mask while he's driving his car.
I don't know, bro. I think he might think that he's trying to be like,
Tough guy.
intense and serious, like a badass, But he doesn't realize people are making fun of him, making fun of him for his inability to read the room. That's the whole point. Read the room.
He's basically he's bought into his own hype lah. He sold this idea of this character to himself, and he's that guy now.
No, I mean there's nothing wrong with believing in your character, but there's a difference between that and believing your own hype.
Yeah,
which is the point you're trying to make. Yeah,
I think that's where he is right now. Okay, so yes, let him take a rest. For God's sakes, let Claudio do something good, like for crying out loud. Like let him be a main focus somewhere somehow.
Well, to be fair, he is a main focus on Ring of Honor. They had a pay-per-view, and apparently the main event was Claudio and Park, which was like, okay, that was a great. It's a great matchup.
Sounds like it.
But the problem is that bill was a 1 week bill from Blood and Guts.
Yeah, like literally, I didn't even realize there was Death Before Dishonor, right? I didn't know that pay-per-view was even happening until like I saw a post about it. I'm like, oh, okay. Like literally zero hype for Ring of Honors here now. Like, what is going on?
No, it was zero hype because they didn't build up the match card until literally the week off or like a few days before. They didn't even have a main event until after Blood and Guts. So I think that's also a failure on Tony Khan's part again.
I mean, you mean Tony Khan is too busy to deal with these minutiae, brother? Tony Khan is a very good man. He's a very busy man.
Yeah, of course, he is. He's incredibly busy, and I think for his sake, he should delegate his work more. Put somebody in charge of Ring of Honor. They have a good. In my opinion, they have a great commentary team, right? They have Ian Riccoboni. They got Caprice Coleman. They actually now put I know you don't follow, but apparently Stokely Hathaway is like their GM per se.
Oh, okay, yeah. I mean, he's always been a very good promo.
Yeah, I think he's like a evil Teddy Long. He's like a Teddy Long Skrull. You know what I mean? Like he can do it.
Jason says ROH main event was Athena versus Trinity for the Knockout Championship. Was it really?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I heard. They ended it. They closed it with Willow versus Athena, right? Willow versus Athena.
No. Athena versus Trinity is what Jason is saying.
Really? Not Trinity. Trinity was at Slammiversary, what?
But for the Knockout Championship, which is the Impact title, right?
Oh, yeah. Somebody please
confirm
check.
this. Because obviously I didn't care and you didn't watch.
Bro, do you see? Tovaki brought up a funny point. Next week, Park is gonna fight Gravity, bro. The man that Gravity didn't forget.
Literally a wrestler. Who the hell is Gravity? Oh my god! AEW stop bringing in random. And I'm sure Excalibur will freaking nut his pants again, talking about this guy Gravity like we know him like that, like he's the next coming of Jesus. You know, it's like, oh my god, Gravity! Oh, he's the triple champion from AAA. You know?
Actually, you're half right. He is from.
Is he from AAA? I don't know. Anyhow, with a name like Gravity, you know, like I'm pretty sure he will just go nuts and talk about how amazing this guy is. Literally, nobody will know who he is. You know.
Oh, I mean, okay, low-key Gravity Commander. If they build up a cruiserweight division, it actually might be okay.
If you build them up, people will watch them because they are amazing athletes. The Vikingo fella also. Yeah,
No, I've got no issue with them per se, but it's how they're presented.
No, exactly. It's like, we need we got a visiting wrestler. Hey, you come lah, you wrestle, come we'll build it like literally no bill. All of a sudden it's Kenny Omega versus Viking Man. It's like, who? What? What's going on? Like, once again, I know that Tony Khan is a very busy, very altruistic man.
Yes, incredibly.
Okay, we're still here. Very good. So maybe he needs to delegate all that kind of stuff to somebody else who can handle the burden so he doesn't have to deal with the small things. All right.
Bro, I was reading my football news, right? Like articles, right? Literally anything Fulham related, transfer and all that. And Tony Khan said, blah, 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 blah. So you got a Tony Khan quote on Fulham. And I'm thinking to myself, how did this guy's face appear? He can still handle transfers in Fulham and still do everything that he's doing in wrestling. Bro,
Fulham, Jacksonville Jaguars, and AEW, he's stretching himself thin.
He is. Like, well, okay. To move on from the whole main event scene in Dynamite, like, I would like to say, okay, at least one thing that they randomly throw on the wall to make it stick, I think MJF and Adam Cole has somehow, we can be entertained by it. But what's your thoughts on them winning this whole blind eliminator tournament?
Okay, first of all, you knew they were going to win because this pairing is like the two talents involved are going to make it work, right? Because you know what they can do. MGF definitely has the comedic chops, but you know that this is going to be a case of they will turn on each other at one point lah. You know, Adam Cole will be the babyface. MJF will be, don't trust the devil. He's always the devil, right? It works. I think it works. And you're right, it's entertaining, but it has taken such a back seat, and MJF is the world champion. Like, that's not how you highlight your world champion, you know?
I would want them to swerve everyone and actually let MJF convince Adam Cole or somehow get him over to the dark side. And then break up with, like, not break up, but like, you know, turn his back on Britt Baker, betray his friend Roddy. Like, if that goes into that, I think that's another layer. That's a level up in their storytelling if they can do that.
Bro. I think it would take a lot to ditch Britt Baker for MJF. Just saying. Like, I don't know what he can offer, bro. Maybe a title shot? I don't know. Maybe. But like, that doesn't quite make sense to me. Why would you give up Britt Baker for MJF? I mean...
Yeah, man. Damn. Britt Baker, every night you can get like... Good dental help. You know what I mean?
Good, yes.
Worth it, bro, to have that as your...
Yeah, you know, dental care is expensive, bro. That's the that's the real benefit. Look, they're gonna have fun with FTR, obviously. Hopefully, this means they'll show up more on Collision. Which
that's actually exactly the case, right? Because they won their match against Guevara and Garcia. So this weekend Collision, I think it is the main event. FTR defending the tag team titles against MJF and Adam Cole. So you know that's gonna be nothing else a great match, right?
And I guess that is a good segue into Collision as well, because we're talking about Collision having come on the air and it's been 6 weeks in.
A bit more than a month, yeah.
More than a month already. So how are we in general, and chat, please weigh in, all right? How are we in general feeling about AEW Collision? Because looking at the numbers is very interesting, right? So AEW Collision, even though they have less viewers than Dynamite, it's like Saturday thing, right? But by and large, when you look at their breakdowns, hourly, quarterly breakdowns, they have an audience. And it just fluctuates up and down, but it doesn't change that much. It maintains, you know what I mean? Versus an AEW Dynamite, they lose, like most of the time they will lose by the time the main event happens. So they are on a downward trajectory, whereas Collision, maintain. It's actually kind of what WWE, Raw, and Smackdown is. Sort of like this maintain. Maybe up and down a bit, but maintain.
Yeah, another point also that you didn't mention, right, is that even though, yes, they start off with a core audience and they maintain, right, they always, so far the trend is they always pop a number for the main event. So people are not only staying, they build enough of a hook at the start of the show that people want to tune in for the main event. And even though, yes, it's a small sample size, right, we have they're averaging 500,000 and 600,000, but this audience, I believe, has the potential to grow more as opposed to Dynamite, where Dynamite is like people watch at the beginning, they're like, okay, I don't want to stay anymore, then they just leave towards the end.
So yeah, I mean, what does that say? I think it's very telling in terms of like, the talent that are on Collision, the type of storytelling that's being done on Collision. Unfortunately, Collision suffers from another problem we've talked about, it being the event before pay-per-views. Which means every time there's a pay-per-view, there's going to be some Dynamite shenanigans bullshit, like what happened before Forbidden Door.
Yeah, agree. And also, I think another problem, which our listeners, people who are on our Discord brought up great points, by the way. This most recent episode of Collision, I don't know whether you watched it.
Yeah, kind of just glanced it, eyeballed it, yeah.
Yeah, the main event. So eventually, the show started out with Ricky Starks coming in, celebrating his world title win, right? Or Owen Hart Cup Foundation win. He celebrated like a babyface. To me, he gave a lot of attitude, but it still felt like a babyface promo.
Okay.
But then, the end of the match or the end of the show, the main event, he was partnered up with Christian Cage, a full-fledged heel.
Yes.
On the opposite side, we have CM Punk, who they clearly are positioning as a babyface.
Yeah.
But the crowd is booing him like a heel, and he also plays along to that. So now he's basically a mixed reaction guy.
Yeah.
Teaming up with Darby Allin. So, do you understand the problem?
Yeah. There's this weird, like, okay, who is supposed to cheer for who? What are everybody's alignments here?
Exactly. And the problem is, right, that might cause confusion in the audience, and that might affect the opportunity to for casuals to like cheer for who they like, right?
But bro, whose fault is this?
Exactly.
No, like for real, whose fault is this? It's the Elite. They are the one who sowed the seeds of discontent when it comes to their fan base. Because let's not forget, the original AEW fan base are Young Bucks fans. Yep. And because of what they did with CM Punk sowing all the, the rumors and the stuff like that, and then of course the Adam Page thing, then the whole thing blew up. Now all of a sudden, like you have this core audience booing the guy who's supposed to be your top babyface. Yeah, you're right. The casuals will be confused. It's like, huh? Well, I'm not supposed to cheer this guy. Like, I don't know, right? And that sends mixed signals, and therefore it's very hard to, build storylines around that. I mean, I trust in CM Punk to be able to overcome it because he's such a veteran. He's amazing on the stick. And but I get your point about this Ricky Starks thing. Ricky Starks, that's the problem. See, he's much younger, greener guy, right? And he needs to be able to like work with somebody who's a full-fledged heel or babyface. Yeah. So at least he can position himself, as opposed to like now flopping in the wind, like not here, not there.
Yeah, and the thing is, we all want Ricky Starks to succeed. I mean, he has had so many false dawns. He's been booked badly in recent months before this recent run. So now he got this momentum of being the Owen Hart Foundation winner. I would like him, if they're gonna commit to make him a heel, make him the top heel, like fighting with CM Punk. Yeah, on Collision, at least place him in situation where he can succeed. But the problem is they need a lot of work. They need to invest more time in Ricky Starks. They need to invest more time in freaking Miro. Miro, I feel like he's doing great, but he doesn't have a story right now. Will Hobbs needs to get so far away from QT Marshall.
Well, wait. So, okay, isn't the story right now CM Punk losing twice in a row?
Yes, that's the story.
Yeah. So that's like the big, like, whoa, like what's going on? What if they throw us for a curve and all of a sudden Ricky Starks and CM Punk sort of join forces and Ricky Starks becomes like, his protege, as it were. Don't you think that would be pretty cool?
I don't mind. I think that's pretty cool. I even might see how they can play their way into it when they talk about how, because Ricky Starks has been cheating both times, right? Use the ropes for both wins. Yeah. Maybe CM Punk can respect that. But my problem is if CM Punk and him join forces, become allies, are they heels? And if they become heels, who are they going to fight? Who are the baby faces there?
FTR, bro!
Oh, yes, my guys, yeah.
Or MJF and Adam Cole, baby.
So MJF and Adam Cole becomes the full baby faces, and then the opposite is true for Ricky Starks and CM Punk. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, and this gives everybody a big rub, and we all know that CM Punk and MJF have history as well, and it's kind of unresolved also. So, okay, well maybe it's too soon. Maybe it's too soon to bring them back together again.
Yeah. Well, looking forward, okay, we all know right now AEW is building towards All In. Wembley Stadium
Wembley,
in
the big one.
August, the big show, right? Do you feel like they have the ability to put on the kind of card that is deserving of that? Because, right, let me preface this, because, right, you got one CM Punk who, as hot as he was when he first returned, I would say he lost some of the momentum, to be honest.
Of course. Yes.
Right? You know, people get used to him and blah, blah, blah. But if they had pulled the trigger on a huge feud, a clear rival, then you know that, okay, I'm excited to see them blow it off at All In. But the thing is,
when is All In?
I believe it's middle of August, so it's like it's either 27, 20, around there.
Okay, so middle or end August.
Yeah. But the problem is, right, he has been thrown around in too many different directions since his Collision debut. He got one time he fight with Bullet Club Gold. One time he go fight with Samoa Joe. And then suddenly now Ricky Stark. So
can I sorry for interrupting, but can I just very quickly say I'm really starting to enjoy Bullet Club Gold or whatever they call themselves, Gin and Juice, whatever. Their promos and their work,
And this is coming from you didn't really watch Jay White in New Japan, right? So this is like your first look at him.
Well, that's because Jay White talks less now. You notice it's the who already I forgot his name.
Juice Robinson.
Juice Robinson, because we talked about it before. He looks like a crazy MF. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he literally
he gives off the vibe and it works. It just works for him. He's got that Brian Pillman vibe where you're like, oh shit, he's nuts and I don't want to mess with him, and he's a good promo.
Yeah, I remember that this one promo that they did to start off the show.
Yeah.
It's the Bang Bang Gang, baby.
Yeah. It's like, what the fuck, you mad? Who's this mad fella, And then they were with the Guns, right?
Yeah. So I love the Guns aligning with Bullet Club. I think it's a great notch on them. And we didn't mention one more thing, bro. Speaking of the Guns, do you see what happened with Malachi Black and Billy Gunn?
So he took off his boot. Did he take off the whole boot or he just undid his shoelace?
Bro, it was a very long, very uncomfortable 3 minutes, but he took off all his shoelaces and the boot,
Okay, so what is this whole tease?
I believe that Malachi Black whispered something in his I don't know what kind of phone sex that he did, but he whispered something in Billy Gunn's ear.
Yeah.
And after that he held him up actually to his feet. And Billy Gunn just retired. So I mean, tease a retirement perhaps, right?
Yeah.
So I like that. You know why? Because it shows they not only obliterated the Acclaim to the point that it causes doubt within Billy Gunn, but then there's this intrigue on okay, shit.
Did he really retire after that?
Yeah, or maybe he decided, oh shit, I can't cut it anymore. But
or maybe his foot a bit swollen, so he just take off his shoe.
Bro, no, it's not.
Maybe
it's not.
Can you imagine next week they promo? Oh, actually, I had a ingrown toenail. It was really irritating me. That's why I took off my boot in the middle of the ring, and Malachi was holding me up because it was painful.
Okay. Cheap plug. I actually for Sportskeeda previously, right? I remember I wrote there was this storyline like what would the 5 directions for Billy Gunn, if he chooses to leave the Acclaim. I might send it up on our Patreon, and I actually talk about how he could turn heel on the Acclaim. That's one, but he could rejoin his kids.
I mean, it's a logical step, isn't it?
Yeah, but imagine you join his kids and join another faction, Bullet Club.
Oh God, no.
Oh, the old man in Bullet Club go joining all the factions, bro.
Shag. Just put him in every bloody faction lah. Okay, I mean, just to keep a cap on it, I think Collision is looking strong. I think it doesn't help that it has to go up against PLEs, UFCs, and stuff like that. So it's always gonna have hiccups. But I don't know who suggested. Just imagine if for a couple of weeks they switch time slots.
Wow.
Can you imagine what could possibly happen if, Collision was on Wednesday and Dynamite was on Saturday?
I mean, for sure the audience will grow. You confirm or you put them on that Wednesday slot, they'll hit 1 million easily.
Yeah, but I mean, we'll never know unless something really drastic happens with, the EVPs.
Well, I also need to think about the long-term future for Collision, right? As much as right now is the CM Punk show, CM Punk is almost as old as John Cena, and John Cena right now is like half retired, right?
Yeah.
They need a Roman Reigns. I mean, they need somebody younger who can be the cornerstone of that brand going forward.
Is it going to be Ricky Starks? Is it going to be MJF? Will he finally like make a full-on move to Collision? I mean, we'll have to wait and see lah. But at least now there is a glimmer of hope, as opposed to when, you know, before Collision, it was just like the same Dynamite every single week.
Yeah. And I hope they introduce more players into, because you know what? I really like the thought of having a big bill in this. I really like the thought of even the Miro squash, right? He had against Nick Comoroto, right?
Yeah.
I actually enjoyed Nick Comoroto in that match. I don't know whether you watched it enough, but he was really vicious.
Right. This actually makes me wonder, like, how will All In look like? Because I have a fear as well, right? Like, yeah, you got the good stuff that you want to watch on Collision, and then you have the bullshit, nonsense, flippy crap, and it's going to be a mash of both in a single card. So, you know, like, the flippy shit, the garbage, the indie garbage match stuff will ruin the taste for the good matches. It's just the same way that Daniel Bryan versus at the Forbidden Door. Yeah, Okada. It was kind of super muted, A, because he got injured, and B, because, you know, the double juice crazy ass match happened before it.
Yeah. So right now we're seeing a split in the audience, right? Between Dynamite and Collision. And maybe Tony Khan's thinking is like, oh, okay, I'll bring them all back together for pay-per-views, right? So everyone will watch their matches that they enjoy. I'm not opposed to that, but I think, right, the thing that made the brand wars work back in the early Ruthless Aggression era, right, was that they always promote it as a co-branded pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Right? But, and I like that.
But, you know, he's not going to do it like that. He's just going to do it as a AEW pay-per-view, you know, like with everything. And he doesn't get the idea that it actually hurts the pay-per-view, the show, as a product. You know, as opposed to having one entire properly booked thing, you know, instead of having just everybody with their different matches next to each other, and then, you know, And that's why you have CM Punk and MJF taking the first two matches of Forbidden Door. After that, they F off, go home.
We have to accept, like, that they will never get rid of, like, the Young Bucks or the elite style of wrestling. That's gonna be like a selling point for them. And I don't think per se is a terrible thing to have, like, maybe one corner, all that kind of style, right?
Yeah.
But my issue, and I think you also would agree, if you put them in a pay-per-view, all of them, everyone's going to try to outdo each other to the point that you might affect the main event. So this is where Tony Khan needs to come in and it's like, okay, I'm going to book you here, you have to do this amount. You can't affect the main event.
See, that's where his rules are, right? So, for example, like we talked about, if let's say he has this big card and you got a main event that's going to be a technical masterpiece, you know, hey, let's not do crazy ass table spots. Let's not do blading spots here because there's another match that will have a blading spot, you know, that kind of thing. Hopefully, this is where his protocols come into place, where he restricts each match from doing things. But will he, when the time comes, will he say no to his pets, his friends? We will have to wait and see, and that will be interesting to see whether he sticks by his guns. Can you imagine a Young Bucks match without 10,000 flips, where he's like, no, you cannot do the Indie Taker, you cannot do a 360, 450, whatever bullshit, right? Because somebody else is going to be doing that. Will they say yes? Will they get disgruntled and leave? We'll have to see,
You might even actually watch a Young Bucks match from start to finish if that happens, right? You were like, oh, this is a different Young Bucks style match.
No, if they did a technical match, that would probably be the most amazing thing, and people will watch because it's so different, right? Like, we talked about it before. They can do it. It's just that they have conditioned themselves to not do it because they know the cheat code. It's like you know, you play Street Fighter or you play Mortal Kombat all the time, and then suddenly you like got a Game Shark Infinite Life. Can do every damn thing. Then after that, you don't want to play it normally anymore, what? Because you know you can always win, right?
But yeah, of course. Hey, quick shout out, Peacemaker, Omni-Man, and freaking
Homelander, bro.
Homelander.
Hey, I know this is a bit of a sidetrack. Hey, we also can talk gaming news. Mortal Kombat 1 looks amazing. It's coming out in September. Your boy is going to stream it on the Twitch account, Mister Young GG. Go and follow me there. I'm definitely.
Let's go.
Yes, I've always been a fan of Mortal Kombat, bro. Secondary school days, I go arcade in my uniform and play. This before there was a rule, you know. I think by your time already got a rule. You cannot wear uniform to go into arcade one, right?
Well, of course. I think so too.
Yeah. My time don't have this rule. I think I was Sec 3 when they came. This rule came into effect, bro. Or Sec 2 or Sec 3.
This is like early 90s, mid 90s,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Oh my
So
god, Mister Young, that's dope.
imagine me in the arcade in my school uniform playing Mortal Kombat and the blood and everything. Oh, yo! And then the rule came. Then I had to bring extra T-shirt lah. But that one, that one different story already. But
Wow,
yeah,
this dope. Yeah.
the new Mortal Kombat 1 looks incredible. And you were talking about the DLC, bro. Omni-Man, Homelander, our boy John Cena. Like, I don't know why the review got one blank space there, but no, that's a John Cena joke, bro.
Yes. I should have laughed. Sorry.
I know, bro. Why was that, right? Peacemaker, which okay, I mean, he fits. But can I just say, right? Okay, one of my favorite characters in Mortal Kombat is Ermac. And I think did you see Ermac in this review?
No, I didn't. Wait. Why do you like Ermac? Ermac is such a random choice for a ninja.
Oh, because he's the mystery ninja, ma. He's a secret character. And I like his moveset as well. He's like the telekinesis stuff. But the reveal, when he showed up, I was like, is that why his face looks so horrible? Like, I don't know. I'm not a fan of this new Ermac design.
Okay, that's funny.
He looked like he kena langgar bus or something like that.
I don't know much about Ermac's history, but all I know is like, you know, last time they have so many like different ninja colors, right?
Yeah.
I was always a fan of Noob Saibot because I thought Noob Saibot had such a funny backstory, right?
Yeah.
That they it was like the creators' names inverted or something like that.
Yeah. So Tobias and Boone.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, this is fucking hilarious to have like creators doing this kind of like inside joke lah.
Yeah.
But do you realize that now we have two WWE superstars who have appeared in Mortal Kombat, technically?
Two? Who's the other one?
Well, do you remember somebody voice acted as Sonya Blade?
Oh, Ronda Rousey. Right.
Yeah. So like I kind of low-key liking all these WWE, DC or so-called Warner Brothers crossover.
Yeah.
Right.
I have to say, okay, and I know this is not anything to do with wrestling, but if you look at the character models, and a lot of people are complaining, why do they look so like, they don't look like their old models? I think how do I put it nicely? Because I'm a nerd, right? But it's like, I think people are upset because they look more realistic, like humans, like how your regular, as opposed to the big booby, the face perfect sort of like revealing outfits. Like these, like I don't know, it's so like, don't get me wrong. I appreciated that era of like, oh look, it's Melina and her boobs are bigger than her head, right?
Okay.
Right, but now like everyone's like slightly more covered up and their features look less perfect, less like models, more like real people, right? I'm like, why are you guys complaining? It looks amazing. Like,
it does. Can you explain to me one thing though? Like, why are they restarting back to Mortal Kombat 1?
So at the end of Mortal Kombat 11's DLC, Liu Kang restarted time. He got the crown and the chrono, the whatever bullshit, I forget already lah. But he basically reset the whole universe.
I see, because I remember last DLC or the last one was Liu Kang came back to life, and then there was like some weird time storyline, right? Where they
time travel thing. Yeah. So he beats Chronica and takes control of the time wheel, or I forget what it's called, and then he remakes the universe so there's less conflict. But of course, there will always be conflict. So this time around, instead of Raiden being the god, it's Liu Kang, the god of fire.
I see.
Yeah, and Raiden is a character, but he's like more of a regular guy. He's no longer main event.
Bro, I tell you what, I don't know how they do it for 20 plus years and keep the storyline going in Mortal Kombat. Like, it's damn impressive, bro. It's like WWE levels of continuity, bro.
That's why they have to refresh, bro. They have to hit reset once in a while, and do stuff like that. But anyway, I know that was a side. But let's face it, a lot of us wrestling fans are also video game fans, superhero fans, because it's all in the same realm of fantasy, right?
Fandom, I would say. Pop culture fandom.
Sure.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward. Let me know, bro, how the game goes, because I think I've already completed all of AEW's Fight Forever. I think there's nothing much to do with the game anymore.
I mean,
so looking for the new games.
Yeah, same. I also I finished the game completely. No, Kitana wasn't with him. He did it alone. He went solo, bro. I think he wanted to
Oh.
spend some time away from Kitana and explore his wild side. No, I don't know, I just made...
Exploring his options.
Hey, bro, he got god powers, man. What do you want, man? You think what? He got god powers, he tied himself to one lady? Come on, bro.
Oh dear God. Okay. This is another storyline. Okay, you know what? Last thing about Mortal Kombat. I heard news that Mortal Kombat 2 is in production and they actually have the movie, right? And they are having Carl Urban as Johnny Cage. Do you know about this? So what's your thoughts on that?
I'm currently watching The Boys, finally. Right?
Oh, yes. How are you feeling about it?
He's really awesome in the show as the Butcher, right? Sure, he's a versatile actor. I can see it. I know we are a bit upset that it wasn't The Miz, because Miz is kind of perfect for Johnny Cage, if you think about it.
Yeah, he is. But he is not the Hollywood name per se that they wanted, right? Yeah.
So, I mean, like, a bit poor thing. So, whatever. I mean, we'll have to wait and see. Like, not the first, but the recent Mortal Kombat movie wasn't horrible, but it wasn't, like, great. It was just, like, it was good. It was okay. You know what I mean?
It was okay, yeah. It was. And the funny thing is, right, actually, a lot of people fantasy casted Carl Urban as Kano. He would have made more sense as Kano.
Oh, especially with that accent, right?
Yeah, but the guy who did Kano was actually one of the best parts of the first movie. So I'm
he cannot. So they've actually rounded out the cast. So I'm actually very excited to catch the Mortal Kombat movie. So anyway, let's move on from video games, and this segues very nicely because the second they announced the match, on Smackdown, I was like, Salah. Tribal Combat sounds like Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, I agree.
Bro, if they spell the C, the combat with a K, I confirm mark out on, okay?
I'm gone. Yeah,
and,
I know.
Bro, you know what they need to do? Have Rikishi in the background on the mic go, finish him.
No, Rikishi need to sit on the throne like Shao Kahn like that while watching them fight.
Yeah, like... As the tribal elder, right? Bro, okay, so let's talk about this. I mean, we are like 2 weeks away from SummerSlam, and obviously this feud has been building up, right? And
yes.
Well, you called it, bro. The main event of SummerSlam. I didn't think they could do it. So, okay, here's the thing, right? What exactly is Tribal Combat? They haven't really gone into it. They just teased it, obviously. They're going to set it up for next week. So, from what we can gather, it's going to be no holds barred. But is just no holds barred, is it enough? Or do they have to sort of dress it up a little bit more, make it, for lack of a better term, tribal? Like freaking, I don't know, have the elders, or Alpha, Sika all sit there, Rikishi all sit there.
Bro, that would be so dope if that happens. When they were explaining the rules of engagement, I mean, they really didn't explain much. They were just cutting promos on each other.
Yeah.
Let's just talk about that quickly before we talk about like the possibilities of the match. What do you think of the two of them holding hands, forehead to forehead or each other? I thought that was a powerful moment in my opinion.
Yes, absolutely. I think it lends credence to this whole tribal culture, their Samoan culture, in that instead of like yelling at each other and fighting each other, like this is like, it made the idea of tribal combat seem more important than it is. Because at the end of the day, it's just a term, right? It's going to be a glorified no holds barred match. That's what it is. Yeah. But the fact that they did not come to blows, in fact, Roman stopped Solo from hitting him and attacking him, right? So it lends like gravitas, importance. Like, no, this is it. This is like a tradition. They told a story as opposed to having it be a big, small cluster F. It was powerful, lah.
It was, that was the term I was looking for. It was really a powerful moment. And again, like going back to the possibilities of the match stipulation, right? Yeah, of course, we should be expecting a no holds barred match.
Bro, this is cinema.
It is. Can you imagine, bro? Can you imagine, right? Something similar to Black Panther.
Oh, right? The waterfall scene.
Yeah, when they are fighting for like who can be the ruler or who can be considered king, right? Yeah. I want that level of not similar in the sense, but like the spirit of it, right? They had to fight for the honor of becoming tribal chief.
Bro, don't give them ideas, because they are not going to set up a waterfall set, right? This Kali, they do AR effects. That augmented reality, they're going to fake waterfall at the back. Okay, no.
Will they include the ring? That's my question, because in my mind I don't see it as a ring match.
Bro, that's exactly what I was thinking in my mind. Like if this was probably going to be the last match, main event, right? They tear down the whole ring and it becomes like just I don't know if they can tear it down though. Maybe what they do is they remove the ropes and it is like a circle.
Yeah.
Or
Tribal combat.
Does that make sense? I don't know how they will dress it, but yeah, if they can make it so that maybe they surround it with Samoans.
No, I don't know. Okay, I
Because
don't want
last thing we want is a lumberjack match.
Okay. If it's a lumberjack match, it's fine, but they need to like dress it up better, lah, for sure. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know how the purists will feel about essentially a no ropes fight pit style kind of match, right? Where you have no ropes. It's just the canvas, and then you have all the Samoan elders like sitting in a throne, like freaking like the gods from Love and Thunder, all sitting on a high throne like that, watching the match.
So who sits on top?
Well, technically, they still have Alpha and Sika still alive, which is the father of Roman Reigns, right? It would be damn cool. You know why? If Alpha and Sika or Sika, I think Roman Reigns' father, corners Roman Reigns, sits at the throne. Rikishi corners Uso sits at the throne, and both of them together. So it's like their mentors like that.
Yeah. I would like that none of them get involved. I don't want any of these elders to even touch anything. Like, it needs to be Roman versus Jay, right?
Yeah.
So who say? Macam like Akibono versus Big Show, bro. Remember that?
Of course, I remember WrestleMania 21. Oh, that's
sumo match. Oh no.
Do you remember that one time where Big Show or somebody fought against like a like some sort of Samoan some sort of sumo wrestler in
Akibono
Saudi.
In Saudi
Arabia.
Yeah.
And then they thought it was freaking Yokozuna.
Yeah. I remember. Like, this guy just randomly shows up. Okay, so I think we are both in agreement, actually. We literally have the same vision for this. Like a fight pit style where all the tribal elders are. Okay, do they go as far as like having this is our tribal music? Is that a bit much?
I think they might check with cultural appropriation, make sure all the Samoans are
okay
referred
first.
to. Yeah, they must make sure they really represent the culture. But one thing Tovaki brought up, Zila Fatu. So that's Umaga's son that just debuted in wrestling. I'm thinking more along the lines of Jacob Fatu, which is an MLW champion. They need to introduce, in my opinion, when this match ends, they need to introduce somebody new into the story.
Okay. Look, we know that it's going to be Roman who wins, right? Whether he wins by cheating or some shenanigans, Roman has to win here, right? Like, I mean, that kind of goes without saying. Maybe
the story is like, Roman barely keeps on to his throne, right?
Yeah, but he still wins. Like, he can't lose the title. Like, as much as we love Jay right now, he's not the main guy.
Yeah, I mean, of course, everyone still wants the story to go back to Cody and Roman WrestleMania 40, right? But that's why I said, like, they need to introduce a new element so it makes sense. Like, for example, if Jay gets screwed out, and like, because the Roman Empire or the head of the table has lost his bloodline, he recreates a new bloodline in a new image, right? Because that's why a part of me, like a very small part of me, like, oh, what if Jay Uso wins and he recreates a bloodline in his image as a new tribal chief? That would be so cool. But yeah.
No, but
logic-wise.
Yeah, that's okay. Like, you had me at, I'll concede Roman Reigns versus Jey Uso at SummerSlam, but not Jey Uso winning and starting his own bloodline. Like, he's no. Roman Reigns is still the main guy. He's the money drawing act.
Bro, that's like the Mortal Kombat reset character, reset universe. That would be cool, lah. But
but it's not gonna happen, right? So so back to the point is, how do they do it such that, you're right, they need to introduce, but it cannot be like a guy that nobody has ever seen before, not even on NXT, right? So Solo may play a role here, but ultimately this has to be Roman versus Jay. I mean, if there's a time for The Rock to finally make his appearance,
this would be the perfect time, honestly.
This has to be it, right?
Yeah, it would be. But I would even dare say, if they're not going to pull the trigger on The Rock versus Roman for WrestleMania, they should do it like for a Survivor Series or something where it steps as another stepping stone for, like Roman to defeat. But again, what's The Rock's schedule? Nobody knows, right? Nobody knows whether he will come back.
He's busy doing, Hollywood stuff lah. So, actually, I don't think there's a big Rock project coming out anytime soon. So maybe, like, got potential lah. that it is.
Well, definitely no Black Adam 2 coming out lah.
No.
That's what.
No, and well, here's the thing. He needs to rehab his image a little bit. Let's
He
just say
needs to
that
do that.
after Black Adam, he sort of lost a bit of his goodwill, the Hollywood goodwill, because of all the the he said she said about how he didn't want to have his character meet with Shazam, blah blah blah, and then he brought in Henry Cavill only for Henry Cavill to get fired. It's like he lost a lot of his like goodwill.
A bit lah, and also I think when he appeared, I mean spoilers for those who haven't watched Fast X, when he appeared in the cameo, post credit scene, it almost felt like a lot of people said, you see tail between their legs, want to cabut, come back.
Yeah, he come back because he had to, right?
Yeah.
So
a WWE run would be a great. This would be the best timing lah. He needs to rehab his career right now.
Yeah. Just come back, do the thing with Roman. Roman is as hot as he'll be. Rock is always going to be hot. Leading up to WrestleMania, boom, main event.
Cody.
I don't know, man. I don't know. This is it's exciting times to be a WWE fan. I mean, we will go into the actual preview of SummerSlam as we get closer to SummerSlam. Obviously, so many matches we want to talk about, and that's the good thing. The great thing about WWE, right? Is like on many levels, there are things to talk about.
It is. I just want to, before we wrap up our WWE conversation, I want to talk about a couple more things, right? I know you didn't watch a bit of Raw, but Raw, I think they ended it with like a contract signing between Finn Balor and Seth Rollins. So Balor and Rollins are, going back to SummerSlam 7 years later, right?
Wow.
It's very clear now that the bloodline is being dissolved. Judgment Day is going to be the number one faction. Not just on Raw, but throughout WWE, because you see Dom winning the NXT American Championship, right?
Can we very quickly say what a freaking great idea that is?
It is.
I know it sucks for Wesley, but you don't halt the momentum of Gunther or Austin Theory. You get him a title that means something because it's on NXT, but yet it's like, you just give him even more heat because this CB face suddenly now got championship and then he can you just pile even more heat on him. Great idea.
And I know you've been a fan of NXT recently, so to have him, and actually I watched that highlights, right? The Judgment Day appearing on NXT felt like a big moment, my opinion.
They now feel like big deals.
Yeah, so it's really good for NXT. And bro, we made it almost to the end of the podcast without even mentioning the guy that got shafted, bro.
Oh, the guy got shafted. Who got shafted? What are you talking about?
Bro, who you thought I was talking about, bro?
I don't know I thought you were talking about like we made it to the end of the podcast without some equipment failing.
Oh, no. We made it to the end of the podcast without mentioning the hottest star outside of the bloodline on Smackdown, bro, that recently kinda screwed out of a title opportunity, bro.
Oh, okay. You're talking about L.A. Knight.
Yeah.
Okay, he's in this very weird spot. He's in this very weird spot where he is super over. So I think they feel like he doesn't need wins. He literally just needs to show up, do an entrance, people will cheer. That's it. Like he doesn't even need to wrestle at this point, right? That's how over he is. But okay,
do you feel?
Is it to his detriment? Yeah.
Do you feel like WWE is using him to push other people, using his route to give somebody like Santos Escobar, or like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think they might look at his age and think of it as an issue. It's like, once again, it's like the Dolph Ziggler problem, right? He will put on a good match with you, he will get you over, but he's never gonna get pushed. Which sucks, but the difference is Dolph Ziggler was a former world champion, so at least you can parade that title around. LA Knight hasn't had his shot yet, so why? Yeah.
How do you feel about him losing that fatal 4-way of all people to Rey Mysterio? It's not as if it's like Santos Escobar or like Sheamus, Cameron Grimes. It's Rey Mysterio who doesn't need this at all.
Unfortunately, I think the whole idea is to set up Rey versus Escobar and then maybe Escobar turning on Rey to push Escobar, So he became a cog in the machine. The plan is to have Rey versus Santos. Very quickly, do you think Santos will turn on Rey after the match?
He looks more of a heel, and he was a much better heel, in NXT. So why not? I think they should. Yeah.
Like he does like a corporate takeover, like not a corporate takeover, you know what I mean? Like he viciously destroys Rey, wrests control of the LWO away from Rey, and then there you go. Then you have the next feud, which is Santos versus Rey.
Well, and another thing as well, we didn't mention, Rey Mysterio doesn't really need the title at this point in time. everyone and their mother wanted LA Knight and Austin Theory, right?
Yeah.
Because they were talking about how Austin Theory wishes he had LA Knight's charisma, right?
Yeah.
So I think they lost an opportunity there, because now even if it's Ray winning, even if it's Santos winning, who cares about that match with Austin Theory?
That's true. That's true. And even, okay, let's say you got Santos versus Austin. Okay, will the most boring outcome be Santos wins, they shake hands, they hug because LWO, and then Santos goes on to fight Austin Theory. And then, that'll be the most boring, right?
It will be fucking boring. I agree with Tobakin. I really hope they don't push LA Knight too late. A part of me, bro, somehow if LA Knight can low-key somehow finagle his way into this title match and become a triple threat, I'll be so happy. I think the crowd will be super hot for it as well.
Pia says Santos should turn heel, and then you know what? What if Santos turns heel, wins the US titles over Austin Theory, and then you got Santos versus LA Knight?
Of course. I think LA Knight should be the eventual winner. No matter, every single scenario needs to end with LA Knight winning the US title, in my opinion.
Or, bear with me, I know it's several months before January, but what if they just say, okay, you know what? This guy is talented enough to hold his heat all the way. Let's just have him win the Rumble.
Woo! Bro,
I mean,
LA Knight win the Rumble, do a Benoit, transfer to Raw, challenges Rollins.
There you go. And you purposely just deny the fans. Deny until it becomes this groundswell, this yes movement, Like, I think WWE, Triple H is not dumb. He's probably seen this before and he's like, okay, we could give it to him now, give the audience what they want now. Or tease until we blue balls, bro. We blue balls. Then finally, Rumble. That's when you get to release, bro.
Bro, WrestleMania 40 is the cock tease of all WrestleManias, bro. Cody Rhodes and LA Knight. Is that what you're trying to say, bro?
Yes. One fella got to wait 1 year to get his rematch. The other one have to wait don't know how many months to get to Royal Rumble, bro. Let's go. Let's do that, man. I'm all for the tease.
Bro, we have made a prediction on this podcast a few months ago that I said eventually Jay and Roman's going to fight at SummerSlam. It has happened.
Yes.
So, is this your prediction? LA Knight will get his deserved title, whichever title it is, at WrestleMania?
Yes, let's go. LA Knight versus Damian Priest.
Because Damian Priest will win the title eventually, right?
Wow, I mean, he has the money in the bank. He's almost guaranteed. And look at him. He is championship. Okay, where's Div Royalty? I know she's very happy to hear this. Like, obviously, like you talked about, like Judgment Day, they are going to be the main faction once the bloodline dissolves, right? So you have main Damian Priest with the championship. I'm sure he'll feud with Finn Balor at some point. And then who better than to, like all of a sudden become the friggin' number one contender. So you have LA Knight versus Damian Priest, which is a pretty fresh matchup as well.
It is. Well, all in all, like again, every time we talk about WWE, there's always possibilities. There's always excitement. There's always like, oh, I can't wait to see what happens next.
Yeah.
Which is a far cry for the other brand. So yeah.
But you know what? Like we always say, wrestling is cyclical. One will swing one way, the other one will swing the other way. We'll see. Like who knows? Maybe next week suddenly we see the headline: Vince McMahon back in charge. Or habis. Stephanie McMahon now the head booker of AEW. Okay.
Dear God.
No, that's never gonna happen.
Yeah, let's hope not. But you know what? It's a great time. I think next week we'll definitely preview SummerSlam.
Yep.
And as well, over on the local wrestling front, I think maybe we should give a quick plug. At the end of actually this weekend, this Saturday, Grapple Max is gonna have their open house. It's happening this Saturday. Yes,
that's right.
And I believe it's their last time in that Tampines Gymcraft, in their building. So
that's right.
Yeah, so those of you who have missed local wrestling, we're gonna come. They're coming back hot with a bunch of shows to catch out. To catch not just Grapple Max. We have SPW have already announced they're gonna bring back Riho. They're gonna bring back. They're gonna bring Yoshitatsu.
Very quickly. So I have the information in front of me. Right, Grapple Max house party is this Saturday, 29th July. I don't know if there are tickets still, but you can always go and check at their website. So that's gonna be like a thank you Gymcraft edition. So like we mentioned before, they have big. They have big things ahead, and I'm actually very excited to see where they go, But we shan't say too much. We'll let them announce what they need to announce, right? And then you talked about SPW. Yes, they are doing a big show, SPW Valor. that is happening. Let me get the details real quick. SPW Valor, 18th of August. Okay, Friday evening at the Fu Chao building once again. And our guy, the statement, he's back, right? And
yes.
I have this is the most random observation, bro. Okay? But you see, you got SPW Valor, Yoshitatsu, versus Aiden Rex. Okay, I want you to see, look at Yoshitatsu, right? You see his pose, right? You see his pose.
Yes, correct.
And then the other main event is the statement versus Carlo Cannon.
Okay, the pose same also. The pose very similar.
Yeah. So my question is, why are two Singapore guys fighting foreigners who cover their face? What is the theme here?
There's some hidden meaning there, bro. We need to dig further. We need to put on our investigative hat.
Why? And also, who is this Carlo Cannon? He looks mad. He looks like a crazy fella. He looks like he should be fighting the Butcher Man.
Honestly, I thought it was Butcher Man at first, you know.
Right. No, doesn't he look like the Butcher Man? So who is this fella? We need to find out more.
Is he from IPW or one of the Malaysian promotions? We need to dig out a bit more. So
he's an Australian veteran.
Australia,
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of Australian, I think next week is the date. We might have a special guest as well on our show, Mr. Young.
Exciting times. All right, so there you go. Preview of things to come as always. Just head over to our Discord. We'll announce things there. Announce things on our Instagram also. So there you go. Okay. I think it's time to let everybody go back to do their work.
Yeah, bro, we covered mostly everything we wanted to cover within 1.5 hours. So good job, Mr. Young.
Exactly. And all praise Tony Khan. Thank you very much.
Oh, yes. Thank you, Tony Khan. You're the man.
For letting us do this podcast, everybody. Thank you for hanging out as well. As usual, Discord link is in the description. Come join us on Discord to continue the conversation.
Support us on Patreon, guys. Keep us, keep the likes on, keep the internet on for all of us. Please consider supporting us on Patreon as well.
Links are in the description as well for Patreon, Discord, and all that good stuff. All our socials. Okay, we'll catch you guys next week. But as always, it's Mr. Young.
And it's Foreign in the building. Take care.
Let me see you try.